150,000 British men and women have been to war in Iraq and Afghanistan. But after serving their country, many are living with the consequences.
When I got back, I'd have a knife in my room constantly with me. Just don't feel safe no more.
Bloody hell, that's not just a knife. Tonight, Dispatches looks at the hidden cost of war for soldiers and their families.
Put the magazine on, cocked it, just thought, fuck it, and just put it to my head.
There he is. This one here.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, Private Dave Forshaw. Yeah, May to November 2006. So he had his 33rd birthday out there.
In South London, a family are mourning a paratrooper who served 2 tours of duty in Iraq when the fighting was at its fiercest.
David at his happiest in the army. I love that photograph. And another lovely photograph of Dave. That's with me. Everywhere I look, I can just see my son. If I feel upset, then he just makes me smile. It took quite a few days really for it to sink in. And I can't honestly say now, sometimes it still doesn't sink in. I still don't think he's gone. I still think he'll turn up sometimes. Thank you.
Dave Forshaw's mother Janet and his brother-in-law Paul are taking me on a trip to remember their dead soldier.
He just said when he was going, he phoned me up and he says, he was all happy, he goes, all right Mum, do you want the good news or the bad news? And I said, well, start off with the bad news. And I can't remember what that was, it was something trivial. And he said, the good news, I'm going to Iraq. And I can remember going, that's the good news. So he was happy to go. He was a born soldier, he just loved the life.
Did you worry about him when he was away on tour?
I didn't. I did subconsciously, but I just had a feeling he'd be okay. I really did feel as though he was out there safe and he would come back. Parked his car here, didn't he?
Dave Forshaw didn't die in Iraq. For him, life ended in this car park in South London.
Well, that was a picture of him, but the weather's got to him. But he's there, I can still see his head there. And this is the letter that the Colonel, on the 18th of July 2006, wanted to give his thanks to David. That's his best friend. He was best man at his wedding in Ireland.
Right.
He's put best man on the day and best friend forever.
Janet, can you just tell me a little bit about the circumstances of his death?
I think he'd planned it for maybe a few weeks. I think just taking day by day and sorting himself out. And I think he just came down here and he took his shoes off. I think he definitely made himself comfortable in the car because he was found lying down as though he was fast asleep. And I think he would have put he'd bought himself a miniature chainsaw, a petrol-driven one, and he must have started it up and then just taken a few mouthfuls or a few gulps of it and gone to sleep.
While he was serving out in Iraq, people were actively trying to kill him, and he was nearly killed. Him and his buddies in their vehicle were blown up. He didn't really talk about it much. He just quite blasé about it, but obviously it affected him. How do you cope with that? Coming back to society when someone's trying to blow your vehicle up with a bomb, and you've got all your mates out, and you're in clear and present danger. and then next thing you're walking around in a shopping centre.
Do you think it's fair to say that he had trouble adjusting to being back?
Without a doubt,
Yeah.
yes. You could see it. I spent some time with him when he was on his rest and recuperation, and he wasn't there. I don't know, maybe it's linked, maybe it isn't, but he wasn't like that before.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah.
Is this poor man a relative of yours?
That was my son.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you know, I feel so guilty because we walked past his car.
Oh, did you?
We had it parked just here. I blame myself for not looking because it was not how we park. You know, we park like this. And it wasn't parked normally. I should have looked.
I think if you'd looked, I think he would already been asleep anyway. He would have been gone.
Anyway.
Thank you. Thanks very much, David. I'm glad you remembered him.
Oh, well, I think we all will. We all will.
But she saw him 2 days on him. That's quite upsetting, actually, because they told us he was parked that way, so that way it's as if he just must have been quick, because I think he would have just come in and just done it straight away, I would have thought, rather than sit here and contemplate.
Dave's phone was in the car and contains the last images of him. It was his sister Sue who found them.
Images. Yeah, gone.
Did they?
Yeah. He's still got his watch on there. So he took that off. He left that.
So that was the night that he died, was it?
Yeah. This was taken, says the time here, 25 to 10 on the 3rd.
Right. Why do you think he
Yeah,
took those pictures?
Don't know. You know, just for us to remember him by. But, that's the worst one, I think. That's the one that gets me, because he just looks fed up and ready.
As a teenager, Dave was passionate about joining the army. He was repeatedly turned down by the regulars and in the end had to settle for the territorials.
He went to school in Streatham, and 5 times he went after school to take the test to join the army, and each time he failed because his writing and reading skills weren't good enough. He had dyslexia, so that's when he did the next best thing for him, and that was to do in the TA. He would never have been able to go on active duty if Iraq or Afghan hadn't sadly sort of blown up, but because they needed so many TAs, then he was able to do a long tour, 2 tours. He was pleased because they accepted him as a regular soldier, not a TA. Which
That meant a lot to him, because they accepted him like one of them. He that really meant a lot to him.
Despite being rejected by the regulars, Dave was good enough to be sent to war and allowed to do 2 6-month tours with only a few weeks' break between them, something few regulars would be permitted to do. On the second tour, he was nearly killed when his vehicle was blown up.
There was Dave driving the vehicle. The platoon commander was in the passenger seat, and there were 2 other privates in the back with me.
Rob Allen was in the Land Rover with Dave on the day they were attacked.
I remember going out of camp, I remember crossing the main road. The next thing I remember was just like a thud, like if something was pushing sort of all the air out of me. Next thing after that, I remember sort of looking up. I could see sort of smoke and bits of vehicle everywhere. I remember seeing the bull bars and that behind our vehicle. I remember looking at them thinking, what bloody hell are they doing there? But then that's when I realised what had happened.
The Land Rover had been hit by a roadside bomb. Dave Forshaw had been in the driver's seat.
I think about 2 months later, I saw pictures of the incident. I felt sick.
That sort of thing wouldn't leave anyone though, would it? And to see,
But he didn't.
in that situation and to see it all,
Yeah.
wouldn't leave anyone.
The bomb had been set to hit a vehicle travelling in the opposite direction, and remarkably, Dave escaped physical injury. Rob wasn't so lucky.
I suddenly just got this agonising pain in my face. It just sort of hit me just like that. My jaw was broken, my cheekbone was cracked in half and my eye socket was broke.
Rob was flown home after the attack, and because he was injured, the army sent him to see a psychiatrist.
When I first started seeing him, they said I had that post-traumatic stress. He would just talk to me, and it was just the talking that helped me. Then last time I seen him, he said I wasn't suffering with it anymore.
Dave Forshaw and the others who were not hurt in the blast were put back on guard duty within hours.
I think the military got this thing that if you're in an incident, if you haven't got any physical injuries, there's nothing wrong with you. Well, I think that's the most stupidest thing anyone can think. There was blokes there that day, Dave being one of them, that weren't injured, and then 3 hours later they were put on guard. You was been blown up in a vehicle, that takes its toll on anyone. Someone's just tried to kill you. But because you haven't got a physical injury, they don't even ask if you're all right, and as far as I know, they don't ask if you're all right or offer you any help.
Having done 2 6-month tours back-to-back and 4 months after being blown up, Dave returned home on November the 26th, 2006. He came back to the bedsit where he'd lived for 12 years. Bobby was his landlady.
I was so proud of David. It was as though he's one of yours, you know what I mean? But this is the room that he had.
Unlike regular soldiers, TAs go straight back into civilian life when their active service is over. It's quite a small room, isn't it?
It's very small. It's just amazing.
Yeah, just because he was pretty
such a big
wasn't he?
Guy, yes.
When you first saw him after he came back, what did he seem like?
He was still in quite a height, and then he started doing some sort of job, couriering, you know, carrying parcels all around the country. Right. But it just wasn't him. He did it for about a fortnight and only did sort of half days. And he's completely lost interest. Where the real big difference lay was when he was there. He was how he should be.
And when he came back here, he had to go back to what?
To mundane, really, no purpose there, no real purpose in his life at all. It didn't have a great deal of meaning.
It's often unclear just where an ex-soldier should go for psychiatric support, but the responsibility is placed on the person who is suffering to seek help. The sum total of aftercare provided to Dave by the Army appears to have been a single standard letter telling him who to contact if he was having problems.
We found this at the Sue found this at the top of the wardrobe.
As the months passed, it seems Dave began work on a letter of his own. A suicide note was discovered in his room.
That is from someone that couldn't write very well, but to be honest, I can read it okay. Can I have the St George cross over the box and have my ash? She's put down to rest at Emirates Arsenal.
David was dyslexic. He would have taken months to write that. And I know now that he used to be up here writing something, I suppose, and he'd come down to me and he'd ask me to spell certain words.
And do you think those were...
I think they related to words he wanted to put in his letter.
The best time of my life was being in the army and fighting for my country, England. And I can't say everything that I want to because of my writing skills. Mum, I love you, and we'll always be looking down on you, Dave. A few kisses. And it's a nice letter because he doesn't say he's sorry for himself at all. There's no bitterness, nothing. So that, just scraps of paper and a folder, means everything to me.
Dave Forshaw clearly needed help adjusting to being back in the real world, a place he may have struggled in at the best of times. Uncoordinated post-combat support structures might have failed him, and in a version of events disputed by the Army, his family say those failures continued after his death.
He requested in his letter that he wanted St George's flag over his box, as he called it, and I did ask if he could be buried in his uniform, and if they could send a wreath for him. And they said no to the flag and no to the uniform. And they did send a wreath, but we didn't even know it was from military. It was as if they just discarded him, as they're ashamed of him because of taking his own life, which was sad.
Run, Forrest, run! More than 150,000 British men and women have now served in Iraq and Afghanistan.
You fuckers ain't coming in!
Many of them are young and can be sent to the front line at the very beginning of their army careers. 22-year-old Martin Lindley from Oldham did his tour in 2007. In Afghanistan, he was an engineer. His main job was to blow stuff up.
Watch you don't get hot with wood, mate. That hurt my ears.
Now discharged from the army, Martin is unemployed and finding life a struggle. Do you want to start by telling me how you fill your days?
Wake up, get ready, go on the computer and try and find a job. And look as hard as I can, then just go to the gym. Finish at the gym, go meet my bird, just get go sleep, wake up, do it again.
Right, and that's every day, is it?
Pretty much so, yeah. When I got back from Afghan, I just started drinking a lot more. Like, I saved up like, I don't know, 4 or 5 grand or something from being on tour. And then spent that in, I think, 2 months, just going on benders.
And when you say you drink a lot, what sort of quantities are we talking about?
Like a litre of vodka a night or something.
A litre of vodka a night?
About 70 cent a litre.
A night?
Yeah.
Have you thought about why it is you're drinking that much?
Fuck knows. I can't sleep at night. That's one of them.
You can't sleep?
Nah. Or if I fall asleep, I wake up and then, don't know, just paranoid. Just say if I hear a noise or something, I think someone's there or something, and then I'll be up at the window. And I don't even know what I think it is, to be honest, some of the time.
Really? And the drinking helps with that?
Yeah. Just comatose me.
Does it?
Yeah.
So you're using it to get to sleep?
Yeah, pretty much. When I got back, I'd have a knife in my room constantly with me. And that hadn't changed yet, I still do. And I don't know how long that'll go on for, but probably for a long time. Just don't feel safe no more.
Have you got it here?
Yeah, there next to the bed and then one on the other side.
Can you show me it? Do you mind? Bloody hell. That's not just a knife.
There's a knife on the other side, just in case I can't get to that side.
Those are they're serious pieces of kit, aren't they?
Yeah, not too bad.
And what do you think's going to happen?
I don't know, someone will come in the room, someone will try and get us.
And who would they be?
Anyone. Live in a dangerous world, don't we? Be anyone.
Growing up in an area of high unemployment and having left school with few qualifications, Martin is typical of many young men who join the army. This generation of soldiers record glimpses of their experiences on cameras and mobile phones. The images are shared among them and end up on their computers.
That's good, Jackie, that.
Right.
That's just a really nice view.
So that is kind of very much the front line?
Yeah, well, yeah, pretty much the most front line you can get. The normal Afghani people out there, really nice people. Really nice. Kids are so friendly.
Do you want to see a cat eating a dog?
A cat eating a dog?
Cat eating a dog.
Who was that?
I was in Africa, one of the lads, I think they shot the dog or something, so the cat come along and ate it. Really funny. 2 dead kids. Another dead kid. A lot of the stuff I got off other people.
Yeah.
All these pictures are from the time when I was there.
Right.
2 prisoners.
They're alive?
Yeah.
What on earth's that?
Guy with his head missing. See bits of his teeth.
There's a lot of death there, Martin, isn't there?
Yeah. That's 2 of the lads out of my troop. Normally he just did advance the contacts from Kajaki.
Advanced 2 contacts?
Yeah, so he's a bit stupid, you just walk until someone shoots at you and then try and kill him and go home.
And how many times did you do that?
I don't know, every other day.
No, seriously?
Yeah.
You'd be sent out with the intention of somebody...
Yeah, because they'd always see you first.
Yeah.
You'd see you leave, so you just wait to get shot at and then try and find them and kill them. And it was like the first proper op we went out on. And one of the lads next was he got shot, but he was like really lucky. He like went in his body plate and ricocheted through. But when we were putting one of the guys onto the helicopter, he died like as they were pulling him on. And he's in like one eye closed and one eye just looking at us.
Mm.
And then you see him go and everyone rush around trying to like save him. But just a bit surreal.
In the last few years, the MOD has introduced briefings on mental health and stress for soldiers returning from war. They also undergo a decompression period to help them unwind. They're sent to a base in the Mediterranean, and then back in the UK, they're kept in barracks.
When we got back, we went to Cyprus. I think we spent a day there, and all they wanted us to do was get pissed and fight.
Right.
We said, yeah, just get pissed. We expect you to have a fight. Nothing will come of it. Just get it out of your system.
Right.
And that was it. And went back to the UK and just played sports and got pissed for 2 weeks. Didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
Just started me off into being alcoholic until I got locked up.
Mm.
Yeah, what?
Martin saw intense action in Afghanistan. But when his 6-month tour ended, he broke the law by bringing some munitions back home.
They raided my mum's house, found plastic explosives, detonators, rounds of ammunition.
And that was in here, was it?
Yeah.
And they were in the room?
Yeah.
Whereabouts were they?
The room's been moved about, but it was just like in that drawer there.
Right.
Just in there. I didn't even know that I brought it back. I brought it back in a complete surprise, like, oh shit, I got this. So I just thought I'd put it in there, just leave it. Out of sight, out of mind. I didn't really care or nothing. I didn't care what happened to me. Just didn't give a shit. Really didn't care.
Martin spent 9 months in an army prison for possession of explosives. Now he's living back in the family home with his mother. So this is all the grandchildren's
Yes,
stuff, is it?
it's a tip though. He was enjoying life, but when he come back from Afghanistan, I don't know, he had changed, really, really had. Just after Christmas, he broke down in tears. But I asked him what was wrong. He just didn't know. You just couldn't comfort him. You just didn't know what to say. He's always been one that holds everything inwards.
Yeah.
So then, every now and again, something's got to give.
For some soldiers, the effect of traumatic experiences only begin to reveal themselves once they've come home. Young veterans find it hardest to adapt to civilian life and are almost 3 times more likely to kill themselves than the general population.
Is everyone alright? Is everyone okay? Yeah. What? You're right, yeah? Fellas, get single file, get in line, start moving.
They train them to kill and then send them out there and expect them to be all right when they come back. And they're not. I personally think that they should all have counselling when they come back. Because if this was a train wreck or an airplane crash, everybody who's involved gets counselling. They're offered counselling, they expect them to go and do it, but no, not the army. So, it's wrong.
Although psychiatric treatment is available within the army, to get it, soldiers must ask for help. And like many veterans I've spoken to, Martin was not prepared to do that.
If you had any problems, you weren't going to go speak to no one, definitely not.
Why is that?
Because it's like a small town, innit? Word gets about. If you go see someone for that, everyone will find out. Everyone will know, and you're just going to get ripped a foot for it, so there's no point. And plus, it's going to affect your career, innit? No one's going to want someone who's going to see someone and think they're going mad.
Do you think he's suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder?
I honestly do. I've said this from day one. I said it to his solicitor, I said it to the police that come that night, but nobody listens. So, I don't know what else to do. Sure. Where to go, who to see.
Really?
Really.
I ended up under the bed the other night, which was a bit weird.
How did that happen?
I can't remember. I heard something and then just girlfriend tried touching me, I wouldn't let her touch me, I just crawled under the bed.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
You don't know what you were thinking about at the time?
No, I just felt a bit safer. My mum wants me to speak to someone, but there's no point. Just what's talking going to do? How's it going to help?
You don't think it could?
No, just bring back more pain. What's the point? Depress you.
Jason and Danny grew up together in Wallasey on Merseyside. They both joined the army as teenagers. Each was best man at the other's wedding. They both served in Iraq and both paid a high price when they returned home.
I
first met Danny shortly after he had been released from prison for possession of a firearm.
It's just wrong. I've kept all these pieces of paper that followed me all through prison, carried them round in my little plastic bag, and read through them and that, and just do me head in. He had found the accused to be one of the brightest and keenest soldiers he knew until the last 9 months since his return from Iraq. He was constantly in a state of acute anxiety for his safety from perceived threats all around him. And
Danny was in the army for 18 years, becoming a tank commander.
He's got his 9 mil a year, and I said, oh, come on then, f***ing shoot me.
He's seen active service in Northern Ireland and the Gulf, but it was when he returned from southern Iraq in 2005 that he became dangerously paranoid and stole a gun.
Of some kind of like violence. Any noise that's not normal noise, I was up. As if I wasn't asleep, if you know what I mean. Probably asleep when I was drunk, but I never was asleep. I'm not getting murdered in my bed, I used to say. I had my defensive plan now to defend my house, like. I've been up, gun, loaded, cocked. Wait around the top of the stairs, wait to see what's coming. And then bang, you getting it. I mean.
And who did you think would be coming through your door?
Muslim fanatics.
I first spoke to Danny on the phone a few days earlier. During the conversation, he talked to me about Jason, his best friend, a sergeant in the King's Regiment. Danny had seen him recently and thought he too was having problems. Today, Danny had some news for me.
Best mate. Since we grew up together, we were in the same pram together as babies. And we both went in the army. When he come home and he was a different person this time I seen him. He'd been in Iraq, that's what we were talking about. And then he said, I'm all right. And he got off, went back to work, and just got a phone call, he's dead.
He's dead? And what happened?
Yeah, took his own life, I think.
And this was a couple of days ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
What Danny was telling me seemed almost unbelievable, that his lifelong friend and fellow career soldier had also had a breakdown. Just a few weeks ago, when Danny saw him for the last time, Jason left Danny with a secret.
He told me for the first time in how many years, 5 years, that he shot someone in Iraq. He shot an Iraqi. My first reaction, I said, well, f***ing get in there. You know what I mean? Well done, mate. But he didn't. It wasn't like that, he said. It was just, he'd been in a contact, there'd been some incident. And I think, from what saying to him, he'd been living that. And I think everything is, because of that incident, he's gone down the spiral of most squaddies do, go and get in a bit of trouble. You drink to forget. You piss your wife off because you're drinking, and then things start to break up and that. It's just a waste. I'm angry about it. But you know what? No one knew what he'd done about the Iraqi fella. But he never told no one. Or no one asked. Just a waste.
Wallasey, where Jason and Danny grew up, is a working class town and the kind of place where recruitment to the army is strong. The two families still live here. Jason's parents, Eileen and Roy, agreed to talk to me about him soon after he died.
That was taken in Spain 3 years ago. That's the one. It was when you first joined.
Jason's marriage had been breaking down, and in December he came to stay with Eileen and Roy.
He came home to tell us that there was problems within his marriage. I asked him why, and he said he was just full of all this anger, and that the marriage breakdown was all his fault because he just couldn't control this anger. He was just in a turmoil. Yeah. You could feel it. You could literally feel this turmoil going through him.
Jason spent more time with his parents over Christmas and appears to have gone into a steep decline.
He was lying in bed, his eyes were open, he was just staring at the ceiling. We didn't know he drank a whole bottle of rum. At first I heard this noise and I didn't recognise it. And looking back, it was like a suppressed scream, as if he wanted to scream, but he couldn't. It was just like he was holding it in. It just didn't even sound like an animal, did it? And I talked to him prior to this about getting help, about going to the army when he got back, and he just wouldn't. He just refused. He said he didn't trust him. He didn't trust the army.
Right, so that's his regiment, is it?
Yeah.
Jason's problems started when he returned from Iraq in 2003. His army unit noticed he was drinking more and recommended he go on an alcohol awareness course. On January the 5th this year, Jason was to return to Catterick Barracks.
Okay. I was back at work, so I got off, and I saw Jason crossing over. I stopped to let him cross over, and he was going to the bank. And I sort of said, wait, and he said, what? And he jumped and I said, I'll take care, son, I'll see you, all right? And that was the last time I saw him.
The next morning, on January the 6th, Jason Wilkinson hanged himself in his room in Catterick Barracks. Danny's and Jason's families have always been close. Danny's mother lives just a few streets away. I go with Danny to visit her.
Hello.
Hello.
All right.
You're right. Like Jason, when
I have to
Danny
keep it
came
locked
back
'cause
from
I've got 4
Iraq,
cats.
his marriage broke down.
Oh, look, see.
When he
I
was
don't
released
go
from
looking at it
prison,
all.
he came to
It's
live at
over there.
home. His mum shows me his old room.
That was a lovely picture, look. Beautiful, isn't it? I do love him.
Tell me what these pictures are doing in the drawer.
I took them off the walls. I had them all on the walls. So when he was coming home, I thought, that's when he first started, look. Look how little he is. I thought, he won't want to come home, so look at these. So that's why I took them down.
You thought you wouldn't want to look at them?
Yeah.
Why not?
I just didn't think he did. Yeah, when you looked at him there, so proud. And then he was in that prison. And I thought, he's gone from that to a prison for no fault of his own. I know I shouldn't get like this, but I can't help it. Because no one helped him, you know.
Right.
That's right, Danny, you can come in. We're just talking about you.
Just saying, Dan, look at you there with your little half-mast pants on, look.
Oh.
And they were saying when you're passing out parade. Yeah. And that was a proud day, that.
How do you feel about these pictures now?
It's the past now, isn't it? Some days I don't even think I've been in the army. And you see these and you just think, well, I was. It's like, I don't know, as if I wasn't there.
Really?
That's how I feel. Sometimes I wasn't there.
Dan, how are you finding it so far?
For much of his tour of duty in 2005, Danny was stationed in Alamara, north of Basra. At a time when resistance to the Allied presence was intense, the British had become prime targets for the insurgents. The base was constantly mortared, and many troops just had soft-skinned accommodation for protection.
We got fucking hit every day, sometimes 3 times a day. Like. And there was a TA sergeant in there with us, and he was lying in bed, and he heard this pop, another pop, and the crump. And he goes, "That's incoming!" And fucking pair of us jumped out of bed. I fucking twisted my ankle jumping off the bunk bed. And that was it. We'd sit there in our underpants with a body armour on, a helmet, just sitting there waiting. It's like a lucky dip. Is this gonna fucking hit me? Do you know what I mean?
Well, we're being mortared, and Duncan and Danny have decided to play a game of chess. Second time today we've been mortared.
Both at dinner time. Yeah, we have nothing. Dinner.
And they've managed to do it at scoff times, so they're not about.
It'll be a long night.
What was that like?
Oh shit. It's like sitting, just waiting. No control over someone's actions, like, you know, like, you just fucking want to do something. They talk about fight or flight. You're not running anywhere, and you're not fighting. You sat there, waiting. And then the one day, it was the afternoon, I opened the door, it's a and I remember shouting, "This one's ours." I'd jumped on the floor, and I was just waiting for it to hit me. And then it passed. I got up, and it changed then. That changed me then. That changed.
Danny's military career ended when he came home and stole the gun. The army diagnosed him as suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, but this made little difference at his military trial. He was sentenced to 5 years for possession of a firearm.
Well, this is mine.
After his marriage broke down and before going to prison, Danny started a new relationship with Jules.
Is that right, Dan?
Well, it does help, like.
Were you at the court-martial?
No, he phoned me
He just said hello, and I was like, I thought immediately that he was okay because he was on the phone.
Yeah.
Ringing me. And he said, I've got 5 years. They gave me 5 years. I couldn't believe it. I was really gobsmacked that he actually kicked him out of the army, put him into prison, and that was it. I thought that he would be reprimanded and helped.
Danny's sentence was reduced on appeal by a civilian court, but he was still locked up for the best part of 2 years. Having received no treatment for his PTSD, Jules has effectively become his carer. What do you think he'd do without you?
To be absolutely honest, I think he'd end up back in prison. He'd have gone out, got drunk, saw any excuse for a fight, and that would have been it, and he would have ended up back in prison. It would have been as simple as that. He feels threatened permanently. He's sure that there's a threat while we're asleep in bed at night. It's like he's still in a combat situation. Like, I can imagine for him, he'd be much less stressed back in Iraq fighting the war. It's like he's ready for anything all the time.
Today is the funeral of Danny's best friend, Jason, who killed himself 2 weeks ago.
When we were in St Albans.
When you were in primary school?
Yeah. I couldn't tie my shoelaces, Jace couldn't tie a tie. So after PE, PE, I used to do his tie and he used to do my shoelaces.
Really?
Yeah. Mad, innit? Do you think I should take that over black tie in case someone ain't got one?
That'd be nice, yeah. I'll get it for you now.
Okay.
Put everybody else first.
I think he's quite nervous, isn't he?
Extremely. He's I haven't seen him this anxious since before he went away.
On January 16th this year, Colour Sergeant Jason Wilkinson was buried with full military honours in Landican Cemetery on Merseyside.
That was when he was about 2. Not a very good one. Holidays in Tenby. That's when he joined the Army Cadets. He must have been 10. This is Jason and Danny. And it's
when
one
Jason saw Danny
after
for the
school
last
day
time,
out.
it told him about something that had happened in Iraq in 2003. Before he died, he told his mum more about the incident that seems to have been at the heart of his problems.
He told me that he'd opened up to Danny and he told Danny things. And I asked him if it made him feel better. And he started to cry. And then he told me he killed a man. He told me that when he was on patrol, this firing was going on. He took cover and he said, I just aimed and fired. And this man just went down. He said it's like a rag doll. Something had happened the week before. I don't know whether some of the soldiers in his company had been badly injured or what, but he was angry. And he said he just felt this anger. And then he kept saying, he did have a gun, Mum. I know he had a gun. I know he had a gun. I think he convinced himself that he hadn't had a gun and that it was his fault because he'd he'd shot him in anger. Then he said that it was worse at Christmas. He always thinks of this man if he had children. And he just said it was worse at Christmas. But he was bad. He had so much guilt over that.
That's rocks. This is going to be mad in here, like, trying to find this place.
Jules and Danny are at Catterick Barracks. Danny has been called here to give evidence at the Army's internal inquiry into Jason's death.
Some barracks. Yeah, this is it.
At the coroner's inquest into Jason's death, the Army suggested he was drinking too much. Danny is concerned that this internal inquiry will blame his suicide on alcoholism.
That's new, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you could park there.
Where?
Here, yeah. Camp gates there.
What is it you think are the sort of key points you want to get across to them?
I don't think he was an alcoholic, like. If they say he is an alcoholic, well, so well, there's the reason why then. This is the reason why. It's not just because he was, because he wanted to.
And what is the reason?
I believe, like, the shooting in Iraq in 2003 on it all. I definitely believe that.
Whatever the reasons they had for Jason's behaviour, someone somewhere knew that he was suffering, and they could have done a lot more to help him. And I think that if he'd have got the help, then I think things would be, we wouldn't be sitting here today.
We asked the Ministry of Defence to respond to the issues raised in the programme. They told us the MOD takes the mental health of our personnel extremely seriously, and extensive prevention and treatment measures are in place both on operations and in the UK. Mental health professionals provide expert assessment and treatment, and the new in-theatre mentoring scheme encourages personnel to talk about concerns, reducing any stigma associated with seeking help. The MOD has also worked with the NHS on community mental health pilots across the UK, tailored specifically for veterans. We are committed to ensuring this important minority gets the treatment they deserve.
I think any soldier who's been out on active service should be monitored more or less for the rest of the time they're in the army. And it should carry on to a certain extent when they've left the army. When I can look back in hindsight with Jason, it's like putting all of these pieces just come together. He was more agitated, more quick-tempered. But it's like he got into a self-destruct mode. That's all his brothers and a friend. Just a waste. Just such a waste.